हुआ वो चोर होता है तो बिल्कुल डिफेमेटरी है ना।
Will Rahul Gandhi be disqualified from the Lok Sabha after this conviction? The BJP and the Congress wait and watch.
No doubt there is a conviction, but this is an infirm, it's an erroneous and an unsustainable judgment. It will be challenged.
The Congress going after the court, calling the judgment full of errors after Rahul Gandhi is convicted. In more news, there is picture proof now emerging of the Khalistani mob's link to the Pakistan High Commission in London. Hunt for Amritpal continues. Investigation reveals he was last seen in the state of Haryana. The Kerala Chief Minister slams the bishop for his pro-BJP statement. Is there an attempt now to arm twist the Christians for votes? A very good evening. The show is called The Burning Question and I'm Deepthi Sachdeva. For the last many hours, remember, there has been a lot of conversation on the political future of Rahul Gandhi. Will Rahul Gandhi be fighting the next Lok Sabha election? No one knows. This, remember, is the most important question doing the political rounds. What does this mean for Rahul Gandhi after Rahul Gandhi, remember, has been convicted? Now, just in case you haven't watched the television all through the day, I'll quickly recap what really has happened on the story so far and why this could just be such a critical moment, not for just the Congress party that already is beleaguered, ladies and gentlemen, but also for the man called Rahul Gandhi, the Wayanad MP. He has been convicted by a court in Surat. These are charges of defamation. The court has sentenced him to 2 years in jail. And this is for a comment that Rahul Gandhi had made on the campaign trail in 2019 in the state of Karnataka. This was the Kolar district, where Rahul Gandhi infamously actually said that why do all the thieves have a common surname, and that is Modi. Now that very comment, remember, has been cited in this case, and the court finds Rahul Gandhi guilty, the reason why he's been convicted. Now, what really could happen now? The court has also given him 30 days to put out an appeal in a higher court. But if you look at the Representation of People's Act, it's very clear. The moment you have a conviction that has been announced by a court, Rahul Gandhi could stand to be disqualified. Now, that is a decision, remember, that could be taken by the Speaker. How long could that take? No one knows. But the Congress party, instead of saying that Rahul Gandhi should have been more careful, more watchful, or what he said, instead are calling this judgment full of error. You have the entire opposition today that's rallying behind Rahul Gandhi, but the story and the question we ask, will Rahul Gandhi be disqualified now as a member of parliament? Let's bring up the entire story that will bring to you the importance of this issue and then the debate.
इन सब के नाम, इन सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 कैसे हैं? नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, और अभी थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो और बहुत सारे मोदी निकलेंगे.
This remark by Rahul Gandhi is now haunting him. Surat court convicted him for making defamatory remark in 2019 against Modi Samaj. The impact of the same is going to be serious this time, with disqualification demand coming forth. However, the Congress is in complete denial.
न्याय व्यवस्था में पूरा भरोसा है, न्यायपालिका में पूरा भरोसा है. एक इंडिविजुअल स्पष्ट निर्णय में हम गलत मान सकते हैं. इसमें कोई विरोधाभास का सवाल नहीं उठता कि एक निर्णय जो है वो गलत है.
The BJP meanwhile has called for strict action.
अगर आप एक पूरे सरनेम को इस तरह से इंसल्ट करेंगे कि जिसका सरनेम मोदी हुआ वो चोर होता है, तो बिल्कुल डिफेमेटरी है ना. तो आपके खिलाफ कार्रवाई नहीं होगी क्या? क्यों नहीं होनी चाहिए?
नरेंद्र मोदी।
Has Rahul's shoot and scoot pattern backfired? That's the burning question tonight. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when you have the court making it very clear that Rahul Gandhi is guilty of defamation, is it fair that the Congress party today alleges political vendetta? Let's say good evening to Shehzad Poonawala, the national spokesperson of the BJP, with us here in our studios. Sujata Pandey is also a political analyst, and I do see Akashdeep Muni, a political analyst too. He leans towards the AAP. Interestingly, in spite of all the acrimony between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, Arvind Kejriwal was the first to tweet his support, Sujata, for Rahul Gandhi. And the BJP says, sab mile hue hain. I'm also waiting for Amrit Shenoy, the leader of the Congress party, to join us. And it's important actually to have him. So I'm just requesting our producers to ensure that he's up there as soon as possible. And till we have Amrit on our screens, Shehzad, will Rahul Gandhi be facing a disqualification? Is that going to be happening soon?
First of all, Mr. Muni can also answer on behalf of Congress, because today we've seen Bhrashtachar ka bhaichara, Arvind bane Rahul ka sahara. Anyways, let me come to the most important question. Today, Rahul Gandhi has been convicted by a court of law. He has made a statement which he is a habitual offender of making such statements against the entire OBC community. And in fact, he has even had to apologize to the Supreme Court earlier for his statement on Rafale. He's made a series of such statements. He's a habitual offender. Now, as far as this question is concerned, as far as my legal hat, if I put it on, Lily Thomas case makes it absolutely clear that a person who when convicted for anything more than 2 years or 2 years immediately stands disqualified. There's no opportunity to appeal. In fact, 8(4) of the Representation of People's Act gave an opportunity for people to file appeals for 3 months, but that is no longer available. And it has been reconfirmed by Supreme Court in 2018.
Yes.
So my legal reading says that he stands disqualified the moment he's convicted. Even if his sentence is stayed, his conviction until it is not stayed, he stands disqualified. And therefore, I might just add that he recently said, it's unfortunate I'm an MP. I think words are coming true for him and he will no longer be a member. But having said that, this is best left in the domain of the speaker and the domain of the law. But as far as the law says, it's quite clear that this fait accompli stands in front of him.
Okay, so, Akashdeep, it's not just the BJP today, it's not just the BJP, it's the court. The court finding merit in the charges that have been leveled. They believe that there is defamation in the entire case. I do see Amrit, but I'm not sure if he can hear us, Akashdeep. So why don't you begin this argument and tell me that is it fair then to allege motives and say, this entire judgment is full of errors? Do you not believe the courts? Akashdeep?
Deepti, I'll just tell this, that there is a fantastic case of political theatrics. Bharatiya Janata Party goes after one particular statement, and then the Congress, why I'm saying theatrics, because in the court, Rahul was asked that, do you want to say sorry on this? And he said, no, I'll not. And and on the part of BJP, how it is political theatrics, you remember Sabri Niranjan Jyoti, who is from Bharatiya Janata Party, who came to Delhi and said that आपको रामजादों की सरकार चाहिए या डैश की सरकार चाहिए. मैं वो वर्ड नहीं बोलूंगा यहाँ पे on public television. And still she is free. I think my friend, my esteemed friend, who is
Akashdeep, then you can approach the court. See, the point is, it's not political anymore. Is it political anymore? Akashdeep, is it even political anymore when you have the courts? Actually opining on this. Let me see if Amrit can hear us before I come into Sujata. Amrit, can you hear us?
Yeah.
So why
Yes,
has Rahul Gandhi been making these irresponsible comments? And now that he is facing a conviction, why doesn't Rahul Gandhi resign himself? We remember that famous moment where he walked inside a press conference, he tears the ordinance and he said nonsense. So why is Rahul Gandhi still continuing as a member of parliament?
Rahul Gandhi has got good lawyers. They will prove in upper courts that what exactly he has told and what context it has been taken here. So Rahul Gandhi is a very responsible and very genuine person. And just to stop him by his battle, Modi and all this BJP, they are trying their best to stop him, but he is unstoppable. as of now.
Yeah.
But this is the court, no, Amrit?
Who complained?
Amrit, this is the
No, no,
court.
who
And just in
complained?
case you remember, the Jharkhand High Court is listening into a matter, regarding the same statement. The Bhiwandi court, also there is a case where Rahul Gandhi in 2014 alleged that the RSS is behind the killing of Mahatma Gandhi. You know that is also a case that Rahul Gandhi right now is facing. And he had to apologize to the Supreme Court in a contempt case, where he, remembers, said that even the court has agreed ki Chaukidar chor hai in 2019. So are you forgetting the track record of Rahul Gandhi? I mean, he's embarrassed you enough. Why are you batting for him today?
BJP and pro-BJP people always complain about Rahul Gandhi and they go to court. And Rahul Gandhi's legal experts
But these are cases, Amrit, in the court. Exactly what I'm telling you. It's not politics. It is the
anybody
court.
Can
When the court
can
says
complain
there is
against
defamation,
anybody.
when the court
If they-
convicts Rahul Gandhi for 2 years, and according to the Representation of People's Act, Rahul Gandhi immediately stands disqualified. I'm asking you, why hasn't he resigned? He should walk the talk. He said it was nonsense.
No. There is a provision, he will not be disqualified. There are so many provisions in the constitution itself. So he will appeal and somebody...
How?
जैसा नेता वैसा प्रवक्ता.
I don't think he's fully aware of the law.
How?
I think he's sleeping.
Amrit, Shehzad and Sujata both want to know कैसे बचाएंगे Rahul Gandhi?
Please tell us the
Because these are the
provisions.
courts, ultimately.
You will come to know very shortly. I don't know exactly what is.
Have you heard of the
lawyers are
Lily
planning,
Thomas
but
case?
It will be revealed. It is not a private matter.
Have you heard of the
Everybody
Lily
will come to
Thomas
know what is
case?
going to happen.
Amrit ji, have you heard of the Lily Thomas case? It's amply clear that he stands disqualified, but more importantly on a moral pedestal, when he tears an ordinance for somebody else, what does he do when
I
it's
can
his own
tell you
case? He
100
should be
stories of
resigning today
BJP
by
leaders.
himself. And secondly, he's a serial
I can
offender.
tell you
1 second,
100
Mr.
stories of
Amrit.
BJP
He's a serial
leaders.
offender. He had to apologize to the Supreme Court over Rafale comments. He's made statements which are lies about Pegasus. He's made statements about so-called Hindu terror. He has made statements about RSS which are lies. And he's gone on foreign soil and demanded foreign intervention. Don't you think this man is a habitual offender whom you should be saying that, listen, he doesn't deserve to be in parliament? Or he doesn't deserve to be represented?
What will happen? Let's just juxtapose that entire question, and I'm just requesting our producers to put out an image of Rahul Gandhi. This was, I think, the September of 2013 in a Delhi press conference where Rahul Gandhi infamously walks into that press conference that Ajay Makan was, I think, taking Shehzad, and he tears that ordinance. And don't forget, Amrit, he said nonsense. People are going to be watching this, Amrit. And today you should tell me that what is the future of the Congress party? आपने बोला भारत जोड़ो यात्रा की, Rahul Gandhi has become a star. Ultimately, Rahul Gandhi will have to face music for the words, for the statements that he has made, Amrit. How much more do you want to be embarrassed by Rahul Gandhi now?
Never, never. I am proud of him. He is my leader. I heartily support him, and there are crores of people like me
so
in
then
India
he should resign.
who work for Congress.
Then
And,
Sujata,
if you
should he
ask
not resign?
BJP people, obviously
Should
they
he not
criticize.
resign? By the same standards, by the same high standards, he should resign. He should say that, okay, I'm willing to give up my membership.
I can give you 50 instances where Modi should have resigned. Amit Shah should have resigned. In Karnataka, CM should have resigned.
Okay, go to the courts
I can
now.
go on
Amrit
telling.
ji,
Will you give me 1 hour
this is a
time?
fight, sir, that is being fought also by the courts.
No, you
because
don't
you want to
allow-
say
you
that
are
the
not
courts
allowing
today
me
are
to
a part
talk.
of the larger system that are out there to target you.
When I start replying, you will intervene.
How are you saying that?
You are doing that. You
No,
are
you
not
please
allowing
complete
me
your
to
point.
talk.
You tell me that, do you trust the courts of the country or not?
Exactly, I'll trust. But we have option to prove that whatever he has told, it is not illegal. Let us wait now for ultimate.
It's not illegal,
orders.
it's defamatory.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Courts will decide, and whatever the provision given by the constitution, Rahul ji and his lawyers will use that. Why you are jumping into conclusion? Why you are talking about future of the Congress? That will be decided by voters, not one TV channel here.
No TV channel is deciding the
Deepti.
future of Rahul Gandhi. I don't think anyone has interest in doing that, Akashdeep Muni and Sujata. With your permission, I quickly want to see if Akashdeep is able to help Amrit today, because Amrit is boxed into a corner. Akashdeep, are you willing to help him?
No.
Are you willing to help him?
See, Deepti, see, we have seen defamation cases against number of leaders. We have defamation cases against Mr. Sirsa of Bharatiya Janata Party, of Hansraj Hans of Bharatiya Janata Party. They don't resign or they don't give up their MP positions. So let's, and there can be a number of arguments
Has there been a
against
conviction?
that particular thing.
You know, you should be very clear of the facts. Akashdeep Muni, can you tell me of a Neta who's been convicted, awarded a 2-year sentence, and in spite of that, that Neta hasn't resigned? Can you tell me that?
There has been number of Netas in this particular country who have been convicted and they have been in office. So let's not go into that. We have seen the recent
this is
case
defamation?
of posters. No. Putting posters, speaking this particular line. I don't think this is such a big line in which such defamation cases should be slapped. I think the statement I referred to said by Sadhvi Redamchan Jyoti, I think my friend Shadat Punawala should go to the court and file a case. This type of unparliamentary language should not be used. I think so. He is in public office. He's a politician. I am a simple common man. He should go to the.
Akashdeep ji, I'm asking you a question of Rahul Gandhi. You obviously are equally embarrassed like an Amrit Shenoy today. You don't find it, possible to defend him. That's the problem. Public posturing is fine to say कि हम सब राहुल गांधी के साथ हैं, हमारे नेता है, सत्य की जीत होती है, but courts की भी तो सुनेंगे ना.
You said
कोर्ट्स की सुनेंगे या नहीं सुनेंगे? कोर्ट में जाकर 2019 में कंटेम्प्ट केस में राहुल गांधी had to apologize. I'm telling you of that case that is underway in the Jharkhand court, in the Bhiwandi court. So why is Rahul Gandhi so irresponsible with his statements, Akashdeep, and why today are you lending him a helping hand?
अरे मैं 5 सेकंड, मैंने तो स्टार्टिंग में बोल दिया ये पॉलिटिकल थिएट्रिक्स है, बट 5 सेकंड लूंगा. अगर आप जो राहुल गांधी ने बोला, आपने पब्लिक टेलीविजन पे बोल दिया कि ये भाई राहुल गांधी ने ये स्टेटमेंट बोला, मैं आपको बोलता हूँ कि क्या निरंजन ज्योति ने जो बोला, साध्वी निरंजन ज्योति जी ने जो बोला, क्या आप पब्लिक टेलीविजन पे बता पाएंगे? क्या हम बता पाएंगे? आपके रिपब्लिक टीवी ने भी डैश करके दिखाया था.
अरे आप कोर्ट जाइए ना आकाशदीप जी, इसके लिए आप कोर्ट जाएंगे, लेकिन अरविंद केजरीवाल कहते हैं गैर बीजेपी नेताओं और पार्टियों पर मुकदमे करके उन्हें खत्म करने की साजिश हो रही है. हमारे कांग्रेस से मतभेद है, मगर राहुल गांधी जी को इस तरह मानहानि मुकदमे में फंसाना ठीक नहीं है. जनता और विपक्ष का काम है सवाल पूछना. हम अदालत का सम्मान करते हैं, इस निर्णय से असहमत है. एटलीस्ट ही क्वालिफाइज कि अदालत का सम्मान करते हैं. अनलाइक अ कांग्रेस टुडे who's alluding motives to the judiciary also, Sujata. But how will this pan out politically?
See, Deepti, first of all, I see this is a very historic judgment because, one thing established that the judiciary is fine, the Indian institutions are unbiased, and democracy is, exemplary. Because a common man took a biggie leader like Rahul Gandhi and made sure that his community, the pride of his community is restored, which Rahul Gandhi obviously did not care. But the judiciary came and truth at last prevailed. Second thing is, Deepti, this is not new. Remember 1984? When Indira Gandhi was assassinated, they targeted the entire Sikh community because one person who killed Indira Gandhi came from the same community. And this is so. And Rahul Gandhi is exactly replicating the same behavior with no apology. Rajiv Gandhi also said, "एक बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है तो धरती हिलती है." Rahul Gandhi is also saying कि there is no question of apology. मैंने ऐसा क्या कह दिया था? But he's forgetting that he's a politician. He's an elected member of the parliament, and he's answerable to the public. He cannot just in the name of the Modi hate, he can defame an entire community. I mean that itself is a big moral ground for him to still step down. And time and again he quotes Gandhi ji and given his ideals about Gandhi. I think it's high time that he should step down than causing more and more embarrassment. And about Arvind Kejriwal, I think वो तो हमेशा he's the person
you think he must step down, Shehzad? Shehzad, a lot of people today who still want to defend Rahul Gandhi and who perhaps do not have any political allegiance say कि इस तरह के कमेंट्स तो एक पॉलिटिकल रैली में आमतौर पर सुनने को मिलते हैं ना. पॉलिटिकल रैली में एक कमेंट लिया गया, You have a BJP neta who approaches a court. Clearly, a court today finds Rahul Gandhi guilty. But tell me something, are you not giving too much of an importance to a Rahul Gandhi? What if this gives more oxygen to Rahul Gandhi, and you never know?
You see, one thing is that how it may play out politically, but that is not the point. The point is that in your hatred for one person, you express your hatred for an entire OBC community. And I'm shocked that Arvind Kejriwal supporters today are now trying to dump the entire OBC community just because they want to defend one corrupt person. One person who's out on bail for allegations of corruption. Today, that is their state. And he has said this before about Supreme Court. He had to apologize. He has said that Hindu terror groups are more dangerous than LET. He has said मंदिर जाने वाले लड़कियों को छेड़ते हैं. He has said Pulwama is not a terror attack. He has said China wants harmony. These are the kind of habitual statements he is habituated towards making. I have only 2 points. Mr. Muni is talking about Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti time and again. Sadhvi ji said whatever statement she said. In public life, we must all control our statements. But did you feel aggrieved about that statement? Did she refer to you? If you felt aggrieved, you are still open to go and file a case against her in court of law. But that statement of Rahul Gandhi was against all people who are from the OBC Samaj, and therefore they went and exercised the legal options and the legal rights, and they got a conviction from a court of law. So how is this vendetta politics? Manish Sisodia par court rahat na de, vendetta politics. Satyendra Jain is in jail for 9 months because of court, vendetta politics. Rahul Gandhi gets convicted, vendetta politics. Are you above the institution? You can do corruption, you can make slanderous comments against the community, and then you want protection of the law as if you are above the law. Azam Khan's son, just one last time, Lalu Prasad has also lost his membership. Azam Khan's son has lost his membership. Rashid, one more MP of the Congress party, has also lost his membership under the same law. So why is Rahul Gandhi so special?
Akashdeep Muni, why is Rahul Gandhi so special?
Deepti,
What does he even bring to the table?
No, Deepti,
You people are not willing to even accept him as you know, your face for the united opposition. You must be saying good riddance. Now there is obviously a lot of public posturing happening, Sujata, where you have an Arvind Kejriwal tweeting in support of Rahul Gandhi. Akashdeep.
But they are only united for corruption, Deepti.
You know, on one poster, if you file 100 FIRs on statement like this, if you file a defamation case, there have been number of statements in public life that I can cite.
But there has been a conviction. Don't just say that a
printing press
defamation case has been filed. There has been a conviction. We are talking of this entire issue
not even
in the
aware of the
backdrop
facts
of
of
the
the
fact
case,
that the
Deepti.
court has convicted Rahul Gandhi.
No, then he will be going to the higher court.
Akashdeep, how would you defend that?
We have a law and order process. We have a law
That
and
is
order
fine,
process.
but
And if you
are you
just-
forgetting?
But what about the
Are you
moral
forgetting
compass?
that what the Supreme
about
Court
the
in the
moral
July of
compass?
2013 had said?
No,
It
I
had
just
struck
want to
down
ask.
Section 8, Subset 4 of the Representation of People Act 1951, and it called for immediate disqualification. Amrit ji, I'll give you the last word of the debate as you represent the Congress party. Okay, Akashdeep, I want to go to Amrit. I want to give him the last word. Amrit ji, Rahul Gandhi says he walks the talks. He says power is poison. उन्हें सत्ता की लालच नहीं है. He is more about principles. He is more about ideology. Today, people are watching his conduct. That now that he has been convicted, will Rahul Gandhi resign or not, or will you brazen this out?
No, he will not resign because he will prove that whatever he has told, it was
Okay.
not intention to
It is for
hurt
the
or
moral standards are
insult
for
any
others,
community.
not for the parivar. The moral
Okay,
standards
so
don't
Rahul
apply
Gandhi will not
to parivar.
apologize for having insulted the country on foreign soil. Shehzad Rahul Gandhi
He
will
did
not
not
resign
insult.
even after
He
having
did
been
not
convicted
insult
by
any
a court,
community.
even though he said that you cannot protect corrupt netas. Let the people decide who today is right, who today is wrong. Only for one of time, Sujata and all gentlemen, thank you so much. We are back on the other side with lots more.
The concept electric SUV EVX reveals Maruti Suzuki's bold plan towards electric mobility in India. Designed and developed by Suzuki Motor Corporation, the concept EVX is underpinned by a ground-up all-electric platform that will spawn a range of future EVs. EVX is powered by 60 kilowatt hour battery pack, offering up to 550 kilometer driving range. The EVX bears Suzuki's signature SUV design with aerodynamic silhouette, long wheelbase, shorter overhangs and optimum ground clearance. The concept electric SUV EVX is designed to offer class-leading cabin comfort, convenience and connected features. The emotional versatile cruiser, the concept electric SUV EVX, an upcoming car with advanced technology and comfort.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
These are the live pictures of Manish Sisodia, who is now being taken out from the ED headquarters. ED custody now comes to an end of 5 days. He has already spent 12 days of custody, which the enforcement directed. Now 2 days of custody is what we are now hearing from our sources that ED is likely to seek, and now he has now been taken for the Rouse Avenue Court.
We have to be much tougher as a nation. If a state government does not defend national interest and national security, then the center has to immediately step in. We cannot be so soft and so indecisive that a person like Amritpal and nobody first becomes a national security threat, then becomes so out of control that he organizes a private fully armed battalion around him, attacks state policemen. When the state wakes up, this man Amritpal vamooses and organizes a car chase with thousands of security forces in Punjab. Now we know that drug dealers are giving Amritpal Mercedes SUVs to drive around in. Why? Didn't the security agencies not know about all this till now, or did they allow? If a state government does not defend national interest, then the center has to step in, whether people like it or not. These are not legal matters. These are matters of national security. The United Kingdom is officially telling the people of India and the government of India that it couldn't care less. The United Kingdom is telling the government of India that it wants to do business with India, but it will do nothing to defend Indian interests. The London Metropolitan Police says it is continuing with inquiries. On the ground, the reality is the Khalistanis have a free rein. Today, Rishi Sunak and his cabinet must decide and pick a side. They cannot appease Khalistanis on their soil and hope to forge ties with India. They cannot act on every other separatist movement and in fact do everything possible to make sure that the United Kingdom is the center of anti-India activity.
आपने कर्नल जमाल कौन कौन से माउंटेन्स क्लाइम करे बताइए। एवरेस्ट आप 3 बार चढ़ चुके हैं?
यस।
अब आप मुझे कॉन्टिनेंट वाइज बताइए कौन से कॉन्टिनेंट की टॉलेस्ट पीक थी जो आपने चढ़ी?
Climbed sir Kilimanjaro, that is Africa's highest mountain. That was my first mountain. Then obviously sir I went to Elbrus, that was Russia sir. That is highest mountain of Europe sir. That is Mount Elbrus. So then I went to Aconcagua, that is the highest mountain of South American continent. Then I went to Carsten's Pyramid, that is Australasian continental shelf. So we went and climbed that. It is supposed to be the Australian highest mountain. And उसके पहले एवरेस्ट तो मैं चढ़ ही चुका था sir. Then I went and climbed the highest mountain of North American continent, that is Alaska. That name is Mount Denali. So then last was Vinson Massif, that was in Antarctica. Antarctica's highest mountain, because it's the 7th continent. So the highest mountain is Vinson Massif.
The visuals of the Sikh delegation, the people from the Sikh community, they are here with the tricolor in their hand and they are clearly stating that they want a strict action against the people who were involved in the vandalism in UK at the Indian High Commission.
एक बात बताइए ना, इतने माउंटेन्स आपने चढ़े, इतने कॉन्टिनेंट्स पे इंक्लूडिंग एवरेस्ट, सबसे मुश्किल कौन सा था ये बताइए?
Sir, I would say Everest is
burning question powered by Cool Fans.
Thank you for staying with us on the trending burning question. There are many pictures, videos that show how these Khalistani agents in the UK are directly not just responsible for organizing the attack on the Indian High Commission. They're doing it on the instructions of Pakistan. We have proof of it. In fact, some of the faces of what's been happening in the UK have been caught meeting Pakistani envoys, meeting ISI agents from Pakistan. And all of this has been captured on camera. And Republic TV, in fact, in the year 2018 had carried out a sting in the United Kingdom. It was an investigative report called the Khalistan Sting, which my colleague Shavan Sen, when he traveled to the UK, did an investigative report, stinging, ironically, this same agent, this Khalistani guy and an ISI agent. We stung him, and he went on record to talk about the kind of political money that they were getting from some political parties in India as well, and how they were directly in touch with agents in Pakistan. Now, all of this has been captured on camera. And ironically, as we broadcast the trending burning question this evening, these are the same almost pro-terror groups that are on the streets of UK. They are on the loose. And here's what they're doing. Take a look.
The Khalistani threat is undeniable. And now the Khalistani Pak ISI link is out. Picture proof emerges of Khalistani mob's link to Pakistan High Commission in London. This after the Khalistanis were seen with Pakistan envoy. It is now clear that Dal Khalsa ISI agents were the ones to organize the protest. It was Republic who stung Dal Khalsa in 2018.
Your conversation. He taped your conversation. You're on tape. You said that we take money from the Chinese. You said you take money from the Chinese. You said you have an office in Beijing.
We don't need money. Listen.
You said we have an office in Beijing. Did he say that, Shawan?
Listen.
Did he say that?
You said.
Go on, Shawan. Go on, Shawan.
Offices all over the
Stop beating around the bush. You said that you funded Aam Aadmi Party. Straight.
He said it. He said it.
You said that you funded.
Listen. We have
what's he saying?
all over the world. We don't need money from anybody.
No.
Can we afford to deny the Khalistani threat? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow at the ORF, joining us live from New Delhi, and Mike Buckley, a journalist based in the UK, joins us live from Sheffield. Thank you, Mike and Sushant, for joining us. Sushant, you just saw a short clip. In fact, it was a longer sting operation that we had carried out in 2018. Now, the same man, I don't know whether we have the pictures of him separately. He's seen in the sting confessing on Republic sting operation, saying that they are funded by agents in Pakistan, some political parties, even in India. And they talk about killing people for what they call this Khalistani, this pipe dream of theirs. And they're also spotted, if I have those pictures, I'll play those pictures out, and the graphic of them seen with the Pakistani envoy, the same guys outside the High Commission, organizing these protests outside the High Commission, meeting Pakistani envoys. In one of the pictures, seen meeting the Pakistani agent who's based in Pakistan called Pammu. You remember that guy? And these are the same guys. So they've been exposed on tape in investigative reports, and yet they're free activists for the UK. I'd like to get your views on that. Sushant first.
Yeah, and that's the problem, isn't it, Niranjan? That, the fact that these guys openly operate in the United Kingdom, there's no let or hindrance on their activities. And look, if these guys were just political activists, dissidents, one could ignore them, water off duck's back. But they are not that. These are guys who are involved in terrorism in India. They're involved in the killings of people in India. They're involved in subversive activity inside India. And yet, if Britain, which claims to be a friendly country, allows this kind of activity to happen unhindered, unchecked, unmolested, then clearly there's a problem. And the fact is also that not just the Khalistanis, there are many other activities that the Pakistani diplomats, quote unquote diplomats, do. For example, recently, just about I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, there was this case of the Pakistanis giving a supari, a contract killing, to a local Pakistani to go and kill a Pakistani dissident in Holland, in the Netherlands. The guy was prosecuted, of course, but that is where the whole case ended. The threads led back to the Pakistani intelligence agencies, but the Brits thought it better that they're not going to make the Pakistanis accountable. There was no action taken against the Pakistanis, even with the Khalistanis. And look at the track record of the Khalistanis. They've been involved in the bombing of an aircraft. They have been actually intimidating and terrorizing Sikhs who do not identify with their lost cause. They've been threatening them. They've been intimidating them. They've been issuing, all kinds of other threats, including that they'll attack them in India. Their links are found to some of the assassinations that have taken place in India. And despite all this evidence, if the Brits keep quiet, then I clearly think there's a serious problem. And I'm not even coming down to the attack on the Indian embassy, now the Indian High Commission. And that, I don't see how anybody can defend that. And despite the fact that on multiple occasions, the government of India has informed their counterparts in the UK that this kind of an activity is likely. There's apprehension that they will attack the High Commission. Yet there is precious little that the British authorities have done. So I really think, enough is enough now. And maybe this normal diplomacy is probably not going to work very well as far as the Brits are concerned on this particular issue.
Now, his name, and I'll show you the picture, Mike. If I can play the picture of this Khalistani agent, I believe his name is Gurcharan Singh. Gurcharan Singh of the Dal Khalsa. He's seen with Paramjit Singh Pamma. He's a Khalistani terrorist of the Khalistan Tiger Force, and these are proscribed organizations, all right? And yeah, that's the picture of him. The man in the middle is a Pakistani envoy. So it's clear, and through investigations and money trail, in the case of this now Khalistani backer on the run in India called Amritpal, India has established that Pakistan is directly responsible for what's happening, right? Now, UK is aware about this, Mike. Do you feel UK somewhere is allowing these groups to just get their free run? Whatever's been happening yesterday, we saw those smoke bombs being thrown outside the UK High Commission, ink being thrown even at the police. Why is the police in UK, the authorities in UK, the Home Department in UK not worried about these thugs? Not just thugs, some of them are terror groups in India.
I think there's lots that we don't know. There's certainly lots that I don't know. I mean, it does sound like clearly there was a problem. What happened at the Indian embassy should not have happened, and that's a big problem. I don't know that Sadiq Khan and others in the UK have apologised for that. There is a problem, as you may know, with the Met Police, the London Police in the UK. There's been a big report out this week covering a whole range of issues, pointing out that the London Police force is not up to scratch. So it may be that there have been some problems there that have affected their monitoring of these organisations and their monitoring of what they may have been planning. I understand, clearly you've got this photograph up which shows people gathering. I think it's hard to read into one photograph and say that there is an ongoing relationship, there's a long-standing relationship, or they're working together. That may be true, but I don't know that that's true. But you tell me there's more evidence of that. Certainly, if I were in the UK police, I would want to see that evidence to be able to take that seriously. But I do understand that what happened shouldn't have happened. There is a problem, and I mean it's not my place to apologise on behalf of the UK security services. But as a British person, of course, I do apologise for that, because it's clearly something that that went wrong and that shouldn't have happened. And there do need to be discussions between the UK and India about making sure that this is right. And also the UK security services need to make sure that they've got a good understanding of activist groups, terror groups, people of other political views, that may be in the UK that would have a different view to the Indian High Commissioner, etc. The other thing I do want to mention, though, is that I was just reading that in response, the Modi government has withdrawn security from the British High Commissioner in New Delhi. And that doesn't seem to me to be a very sensible response. To say that there's been danger and potential violence at one end, well, actual violence at one end, but to make that more likely at the other end in response seems to me to be unnecessary. So I was disappointed to see that.
The UK High Commission in Delhi, there were a few barricades which we felt were unnecessary, but certainly you can call it symbolic, but that's not a security downgrade. It was security review for most high commissions, we are told. So that's nothing specific, and I don't think there's anything for them, for the UK especially, to be upset about. I mean, we didn't even get 1/10 of that protection in London, did we, Sushant?
Not at all. And the problem, Niranjan, is that this what happened a couple of days back isn't the first time this has happened. We know it for a fact that on previous occasions, the Pakistanis were involved in bussing in crowds of guys from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, including some of these Khalistani elements. Those buses were all organized and paid for by the Pakistanis. And these guys were brought in front of the Indian High Commission and they assaulted the Indian High Commission. This happened a couple of years back. So this has become a pattern. And, these thugs very often, if not in large numbers, in small numbers, come and, create a nuisance outside the Indian High Commission. They harass people who are entering or exiting from there. They hurl abuses. They do all kinds of things out there. So this is not the first time this is happening. And if, it happens time and time again, then I don't think there's any way that you can deny that there is a degree of complicity. You talk about Sadiq Khan. I'm not so sure about his bona fides anymore, given how lax he has been and the police has been under his watch. And of course, we know that he's of Pakistani origin. I'm sure the British will find it, somewhat strange that I'm saying this, but we've seen this with the Pakistani origin MPs and the kind of poisonous propaganda they carry. The second thing, Niranjan, is, it is inconceivable that these legendary security services of Britain, and I'm not just talking about the Met Police, let's talk about the intelligence services. Are you trying to tell me that the intelligence services in the UK have absolutely no fix, have absolutely no monitoring of these kind of groups? I find that inconceivable because many of these groups are involved with the Pakistanis and also with some of the radical elements among the Pakistani community. So for anybody to tell me that, look, these guys suddenly came out of the blue and the intelligence agencies have absolutely no idea who these guys are, that's rather disingenuous. And finally, on the issue of taking off the security from the British establishments in India, I'm not going to pussyfoot around it. You can do it for whatever it's worth. But I think it was a clear message which was sent to the British. And I think it's damn good that this happened for a very simple reason. Dealing with the Pakistanis, for example, we have realized that there has to be reciprocity. And there have been many instances where the Pakistanis would actually assault Indian diplomats, which has also happened in Britain, incidentally. They would assault Indian diplomats, and every time India would protest, there were the normal pro forma kind of condemnations, and we'll look into it and we'll ensure it does not happen again. And that diplomatic kind of slap on the hand didn't really work. It's only when we started retaliating in kind, the penny dropped. So I think there is something to be said if the British are not going to conform to the diplomatic proprieties of protecting the Indian mission and protecting people of the Indian diaspora. You can't give a license to the Pakistanis simply because they are aggressive, they indulge in terrorism, and you feel that you don't want to get your hands messy. So you let them harass a peaceful community, a community which follows the law, which has the least prison to population ratio in Britain. You can't harass that community. You can't intimidate that community. And if you do, then it clearly suggests a pattern of behavior on part of the British authorities.
Yeah, just one point there, Sushant. I wasn't pussyfooting. I mean, I don't think India has done much. They could have done much more. Though there was some noise made.
I think they should do much more.
No, they should do much more. Because you see, Mike, Mike, I'm just quoting the UK media. There were British police raids on this group called Sikhs for Justice. They've got a very activist sounding name, but they're a terror group, proscribed terror group in India, which have tried to target the Prime Minister of India. Have not tried to, but they have targeted him recently in what was a big security breach. They've threatened the Indian state, and they're on record on tape in investigative tapes talking about how many people they've killed. Now, these people are activists for the UK government. It appears that the UK government is harboring terror, and we certainly feel that the Indian government must do much more. Is it that the UK government has failed, is ineffective in acting against these radical groups for some reason? Because these raids were in 2021, 2 years after we carried out that sting, but they seem to have gone cold on them now.
I mean, you've both said a lot. Of course, it's not true that the UK government is harbouring terror, and it also isn't true that the UK security services would have had no idea about these groups or their activities. Clearly, on this occasion, the ball was dropped, and they were either not aware of the fact that this action was likely, or they didn't respond to it in time. That could be the security services, could be the police, and I don't know which one of those it is. I'm sure that there'll be lessons learned in the police, in City Hall, with Sadiq Khan and others, and in security services as well. I'm sure they will do everything they possibly can to ensure this doesn't happen again. It does not help the situation in the UK that security barriers have been removed from the British High Commission in other buildings in New Delhi, and it doesn't help the wider UK India relationship, and indeed I doubt that it will, but it potentially endangers British people or indeed Indian people working in those establishments, in those buildings in India. So I'm disappointed to see that. I'm sure that other people in Britain will be disappointed to see that as well. Just because one mistake was made does not mean that another mistake ought to be made as well. And just because some people were potentially put in danger, that doesn't make it right that other people are put in danger.
No, this is certainly not one mistake, Mike. I think you're mistaken.
Way to engage in diplomacy.
Mike, I think you'll agree that this is not one mistake. Sushant just pointed out instances where where Indians have been killed, some of them lynched on UK soil by these same groups, and they're on record talking about the murders, admitting to the murders, and you've raided, that is the UK police has raided them, and it appears that the UK is pussyfooting on these terrorists and is for some reason, and you say they're not terror groups, they are terror groups. In fact, last night on the debate, we had one of your parliamentarians called Bob Blackman who said that there is perhaps a lack of awareness in the UK about these Khalistani groups, and that if India were to tell the UK that they are banned groups in India, then they would certainly act on those groups in the UK. But the fact is, Sushant, they've always known about it. UK has known about it, we've raised it, and yet they appear to be, ignorant of the fact that these are terror groups. You think they're under some pressure from these Khalistani groups, Sushant?
I don't know whether the pressure is from the Khalistanis or the Pakistani masters. I'm not entirely sure of that, because there is very little to distinguish the Khalistanis from the Pakistanis. And these Khalistanis are not Sikhs. I think it's offensive to call them Sikhs, because the Sikhs would never do what these Khalistanis do. But the thing is that, one, this is not the first time this kind of an attack has happened. It's happened on multiple occasions. It's also not the first time that people of the Indian community or the Indian diaspora is being targeted. Look, we saw the kind of attitude that the Brits had, the British police, and that was not the Met police under Sadiq Khan. But in Leicester, we saw what happened in Leicester. We've seen the defilement of Indian temples. We've seen, assault on Indian businesses. We've seen any number of such incidents. And every time there is no prosecution. Remember, this is the same police force when the London riots happened a few years back. Sorry. When the London riots happened a few years back, they caught each one of the rioters, they recovered the stolen property, and they punished each one of them. So when they want to act, they act with alacrity, they act pretty ruthlessly, and they punish the people. And when they don't want to do it, they plead helplessness. So, for example, you had about those 14, 15. There was not just the one guy clambered on top, but there were another 13, 14 of them on that particular day when the attack took place. Are you saying that only one guy was responsible and all the others were not responsible for what happened, and you can't identify those guys? Well, if you are going to believe that, then you'll believe anything, right? So clearly there seems to be some reluctance, some hesitation, some compulsion, if you will, to act against these guys and act forcefully against these guys to shut them down. They can keep ranting, they can keep shouting their slogans, they can keep doing all of that. But some vigil has to be kept on the more dangerous activity in which these guys are indulging in. Otherwise, what's this whole thing about, we'll cooperate with each other at a strategic level, we'll have security cooperation, we'll share intelligence. What is the point? And what does then Britain bring to the table?
Yeah. Okay, last word, Mike. Mike, of course, apologies have come in, regrets have come in, but it appears that UK will have to do much more. As a journalist, do you think the UK government will wake up to this Khalistani plus Pakistan ISI threat?
I think you're right. Of course, apologies have come in, and I'm sure that the UK will act, both the government and the police and the security services as well. And I think you were right to say that there is ignorance in the UK about the Khalistani issue, and indeed about people in the UK who might be, proponents of that and what they might do to advance their cause. That's true, and I think that's because of today's protest. That's now become, much more public knowledge. Now, whether that will impact the security response, I don't know, but I would imagine that it would. And indeed, of course, I think I have to say people will take, any kind of threat more seriously, and it will be responded to more seriously. So I have no doubt that is the case. But we're also aware this week, you might have heard of the report, Dame Louise Casey's report on the Met Police. The Met Police clearly has serious issues that need to be resolved in a whole range of areas, particularly as it relates to their view on homophobia and misogyny and their treatment of crimes such as rape and domestic violence, and they've clearly got leadership issues as well. I would imagine that will have had an impact on issues like this. I have no evidence of that, but it would seem logical to assume that as action is taken to improve the Met, that will have a consequential benefit on issues like this, and we all want that. And certainly none of us want to see a repeat of the incident that we've just seen.
Sushant and Mike, thank you both gentlemen for joining us on the trending burning question. I just want to end this show by making one point that just before coming into the debate, I saw a video of this same Khalistani, this Dal Khalsa terrorist who was seen abusing a Gujarati elderly gentleman. And that video, Sushant, you may have seen it, it's doing the rounds, and he tells him that he will kill him, and he says, we will kill every Gujarati. That's the kind of racist hate comments on the streets of the UK, and this is all over the social media. Hopefully the UK government and the police will wake up before it's too late. Thank you for joining us on the trending burning question. The debate with Arnab is coming up next. Stay tuned.
Fronx pioneers the shape of new compact SUVs in the country with its aerodynamic design. The stylish and sporty Fronx is bound to leave everyone in complete awe. Crystal block-shaped LED DRLs, next wave grille and striking front fascia, full LED connected RCL, geometric precision cut alloy wheels. 1 litre turbo booster jet engine with smart hybrid technology. 1.2 litre dual jet dual VVT engine, 6-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters. The 22.86 centimeter Smart Play Pro Plus infotainment system, 360 view camera, head-up display, wireless charging, next-gen Suzuki Connect technology that ensures your safety, comfort and convenience. A futuristic and sporty SUV that's crafted for performance.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
आपने कर्नल जमाल कौन कौन से माउंटेन्स क्लाइम करे ये बताइए। एवरेस्ट आप 3 बार चढ़ चुके हैं?
यस।
अब आप मुझे कॉन्टिनेंट वाइज बताइए कौन से कॉन्टिनेंट की टॉलेस्ट पीक थी जो आपने चढ़ी?
Climbed sir Kilimanjaro, that is Africa's highest mountain. That was my first mountain. Then obviously sir I went to Elbrus, that was Russia sir. That is highest mountain of Europe sir. That is Mount Elbrus. So then I went to Aconcagua, that is the highest mountain of South American continent sir. Then I went to Carsten's Pyramid, that is Australasian continental shelf. So we went and climbed that. It is supposed to be the Australian highest mountain. And उसके पहले एवरेस्ट तो मैं चढ़ ही चुका था sir. Then I went and climbed the highest mountain of North American continent, that is Alaska. That name is Mount Denali. So then last was Vincent Massif, that was in Antarctica. Antarctica's highest mountain, because it's the 7th continent. So the highest mountain is Vincent Massif.
Showing you the visuals of the Sikh delegation, the people from the Sikh community, they are here with the tricolor in their hand and they are clearly stating that they want a strict action against the people who were involved in the vandalism in UK at the Indian High Commission.
एक बात बताइए ना, इतने माउंटेन्स आपने चढ़े, इतने कॉन्टिनेंट्स पे इंक्लूडिंग एवरेस्ट, सबसे मुश्किल कौन सा था ये बताइए।
Sir, I would say Everest is always the difficult one. हालांकि lot of people say sir, Everest में आजकल हर कोई चढ़ रहा है, but let me tell you sir, Everest remains Everest. Everest is the highest mountain in the world and it will remain so. And I have find Everest to be the most difficult.
Most difficult.
Most difficult sir. Ultimately crevasses उस खुम्बू ग्लेशियर में आपको क्रॉस करने हैं. Ultimately वो लोत्से फेस में जो 70 डिग्री की वॉल है वो आपको चढ़नी है.
डर लगा कभी?
सर आई थिंक डरना भी जरूरी है सर, बिकॉज डर जब आपको लगता है आप सतर्क रहते हैं.
Armed struggle is the only way. Investing in armed struggle and destabilizing in India with, you know, how they've been operating for the last 30 years, assassinating Indian government officials, attacking military bases.
कर्नल जमाल एक बात बताइए ना, आप वहां पे गए थे एवरेस्ट चढ़ने के लिए?
बिल्कुल सर.
आपका मिशन था एवरेस्ट चढ़ना?
बिल्कुल सर.
लेकिन बीच में अर्थक्वेक आ गया तो आप लोगों ने अपना मिशन चेंज कर दिया. आपने बोला कि एवरेस्ट तो ठीक है बाद में चढ़ लेंगे, सबसे पहले लोगों की जान बचाओ.
2015 में when we went, earthquake happened. Then we changed our things to the rescue team and we were there in Everest base camp for around 15 days. हम लोग 45 दिन का हम लोग पूरा सामान लाए थे, राशन लेके गए थे, मेडिसिन लेके गए थे, इक्विपमेंट लेके गए थे. हमने फिर वो सारी चीजें पूरी जनता जो वहाँ पे थी, पूरे क्लाइंबर्स जो वहाँ पे थे उनके लिए खोल दिया. क्लाइंबिंग से ज्यादा नाम हमें जब हमने रेस्क्यू किया है उससे मिला, और वो एक शायद हमारा टाइम था जब हमने एवरेस्ट को या एवरेस्ट बेस कैंप में हमने वो वापस दिया है पहाड़ को.
These are the live pictures of Manish Sisodia, who is now being taken out from the ED headquarters. ED custody now comes to an end of 5 days. He has already spent 12 days of custody, which the enforcement directed. Now 2 days of custody is what we are now hearing from our sources that ED is likely to seek, and now he has now been taken for the Rahul Gandhi court.
Opinion about Israel within the Indian population is much more favorable vis-a-vis how Israel is seen, for example, even in the United States.
There is a known phenomena here that Israelis after military service, they choose to come to India, what I call a full immersion visit. So they don't come 5-star hotels. They go backpackers, they want to live